This time on Superstars, 5 famous blondes who are having plenty of fun on the big screen. According to online sources, after spending all night talking to Ryan Phillippe at her 21st birthday party back in 1997, Reece Witherspoon concluded that the young actor from Delaware must be her birthday present, and the couple immediately became an item. By the time they starred together in Cruel Intentions in 1999, they'd already become engaged, and on June the 5th that year, they were married on a plantation in South Carolina. 4 months later, Reece had their first child, Ava Elizabeth, and at the premiere of Legally Blonde 2 in 2003, they were looking forward to the birth of their son, Deacon Reece.
I feel great. I feel really, really good, and I'm happy, just, you know, that somebody wants to work with a pregnant lady, and because I'm doing a movie right now, and then I'm almost done, and I get to go home and just relax and have a baby.
While Reece was having babies and working her way to becoming one of the highest-paid actresses in Hollywood, Ryan was having a rather lean time of things on the work front, appearing in just 2 films over the space of 3 years. Things began looking up in 2005, when he scored the part of a rookie policeman in the year's Best Picture Oscar winner, Crash.
They want us to get so frustrated that we'll just go away, and they won't have to spend any of their money.
Having broken the drought, he appeared in 3 films released in 2006. As well as playing Detective Shane Decker in Chaos and a kidnapped Dutchman in 5 Fingers, he signed on to play a young soldier in Flags of Our Fathers. Clint Eastwood's film told the story of the 3 men who raised the flag during the bloody battle for control of Iwo Jima during the Second World War. Recorded by a nearsighted AP photographer, their efforts went down as an iconic moment in history.
The image I was obviously familiar with, although I thought it had been taken in the heat of battle. I had no idea that there was another flag or any of that sort of stuff, which was all fascinating to me when I did find out.
For Ryan, who plays John Doc Bradley in the film, saying yes to Clint Eastwood was a no-brainer.
When there was no script, and I'd always wanted to do a World War II film because of my grandfathers. My one grandfather in particular, who won a Bronze Star in Germany for fighting on the ground, was my hero. And to pay some kind of tribute to him and to the men he served with, and even in a greater sense to that generation and the way they defined our world, was massively important to me.
Then came a part as a young FBI investigator hired to spy on his boss in Breach, based on a true story.
Supervisory Special Agent Hanson's office.
Hang up the phone.
And so this guy, pretty much fresh out of college and just starting his life, finds himself in the biggest case in U.S. history.
But while things were going well for Ryan at work, his home life was falling apart. On the 30th of October 2006, after 7 years of marriage, he and Reece released a statement announcing their formal separation. A week later, Reece filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The gossip magazines immediately laid the blame at the door of Ryan's stop-loss co-star Abby Cornish.
Says here you have orders to report to the 1st Brigade.
Not me. I'm getting out today.
Ryan initially denied the reports and turned up at the LA premiere alone to promote the movie about soldiers who return home only to be called back to the war zone under the Army's fine print stop-loss policy.
It's the first film about this war that is told from the soldiers' perspective. It is solely about the soldiers, and it's not a political film. It is just kind of telling the truth about what's happening to a lot of the troops right now.
More recently, however, he and the young Australian star have officially become a couple, and Abby makes no secret of the influence Ryan has had on her musical tastes.
I was already into hip-hop, but he definitely has like a very wide knowledge in relation to that genre of music. He loves it.
Meanwhile, Ryan was over at the London Festival for the world premiere of his new film, Franklin, a futuristic fairy tale about an atheist vigilante on the warpath. Barely in her 20s, Evan Rachel Wood has been branded by Britain's Guardian newspaper as wise beyond her years and one of the best actresses of her generation. After appearing in several television roles as a young teen, the film that marked her transition to more grown-up roles came in 2003 with 13.
Don't worry about it. Let me see that. No. Mom, what is it with you and poking me? I want to see what you got there. Stop!
The controversial movie sparked a buzz at the Sundance Film Festival and won Catherine Hardwicke an award for Best Director in a Drama. For Evan, playing the part of a troubled teenager who experiments with drugs, sex and shoplifting was like falling off a log.
Half of the acting I did was just kind of subconscious. It just kind of came out. I mean, when you're handed something like that that hits so close to home and so close to kind of what you've experienced. I mean, me and Nikki were the ages of these girls. I mean, we're still going through all that right now.
The same year, she played Cate Blanchetts' kidnapped daughter in Ron Howard's western, The Missing.
Just his name.
By 2005, at the age of 18, she was ready to take on the lead role in Pretty Persuasion, a black comedy about a fame-hungry 16-year-old who claims she's been molested by her teacher.
She's a dark, complicated girl, this one. She's very manipulative and just very kind of damaged. She's a very damaged girl, and she feels like she has nothing to lose, so she's just going to, and she's too smart for her own good, so she just really sees everybody's weakness and uses it against them, you know, for her benefit. So everybody's just like Kimberly's little puppet, and it's kind of dangerous.
This time, however, she didn't draw inspiration for her character from within herself.
I was the one, you know, being manipulated by the evil girl. I based this character on a girl I knew in high school, so I had some bad experiences with that.
What if I do?
While the film itself did little to impress the critics, Evan's performance drew great reviews, with London's Time Out declaring her uncannily poised, utterly imperious, and surely destined for better than this. Premiere magazine agreed, and in 2006 she was honoured at the 13th Annual Women in Hollywood Awards, alongside the likes of Sally Field and Annette Bening.
It's a little unreal, and it's a little overwhelming. I'm not even nervous being here because I don't even feel like I'm really here. I look up to all these women so much, and I've been watching them since I can remember, and they're why I do what I do, so I'm just very humbled.
After that, however, she had to take a bit of a back seat in her next few films, playing supporting roles in The Upside of Anger and Running with Scissors.
Are you ready?
For what?
To play doctor.
What are you guys doing?
Electroshock therapy.
Awesome.
She also joined the ranks of stars lending their voices to animated characters, as ABBA in Asterix and the Vikings and as Cordelia in Sharkbait. In 2007, at the age of 20, she was pushing her vocal talents in another direction as the star of Across the Universe, a musical described as Hair meets Moulin Rouge. Set during the Vietnam War, commentators were also drawing parallels with the war in Iraq.
It's hard not to see the similarities, but what I love about it is that it's not really trying to shove an anti or pro message in your face. It's really just about the time, and I think through that, you just naturally make the connection between then and now and the comparison. And you see in the 60s how people really thought that they had a voice and really rose up and really fought for what they believed, no matter what they believed. And nowadays, it just seems like nobody's speaking up either way.
The film, directed by Julie Taymor, follows a shipyard worker's journey from Liverpool to New York and features music by the Beatles.
The Beatles don't exist in the film, but it takes place in the 60s, and it's focuses on these group of people living in the East Village in New York during the Summer of Love, and also during the Vietnam War. It was when, love and music and art were at an all-time high, but also so was this other side of this darkness.
Speaking of darkness, Evan hit the Gossip magazine headlines in 2007 after she simulated sex with her shock rocker boyfriend Marilyn Manson in a music video. In fact, the muckraking dated back to late 2006, when Marilyn's wife, Dita Von Teese, filed for divorce, amid rumours that his extramarital romance with Evan had caused the split. She is also set to appear in his directorial debut, Phantasmagoria: The Visions of Lewis Carroll, although she and Marilyn have decided to take time out from their relationship. Meanwhile, she recently played another troublemaking teen she could relate to in the 2008 drama Before Her Eyes.
I could, definitely, because everybody kind of wants to label her as this rebellious bad girl, and she's not. She's just different, and they don't really understand her. And she's kind of tortured by it, but she still isn't going to let it stop her, you know?
Cutting funny man David Spade got everyone's attention as one of the bad boys of Saturday Night Live back in the early 90s, along with Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider, Chris Rock, and close friend Chris Farley, with whom he made the film comedies Tommy Boy and Black Sheep. David was so devastated by Chris's death by accidental overdose in 1997 that he refused to go to the funeral, saying he couldn't be in a room where Chris was in a box. However, he did turn up to the unveiling of Chris's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2005.
We all miss him, all the guys here today, and I see people every day that like Tommy Boy and like movies we did and liked him on Saturday Night Live and tell me about it, and I think it's sweet that everyone still has a real nice place in their heart for him, still remember him, and goes down as one of the greats, and I still think about him every day. And
since his friend's death, David had spent 7 years playing smart-mouthed assistant David Finch on the NBC sitcom Just Shoot Me. He'd been awarded his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and made several attempts at kickstarting a movie career.
What? Poop?
In 2003, he collaborated with fellow writer Fred Wolf to come up with a character of Dickie Roberts, a former child star, desperately trying to make it as an adult actor. He and Fred took their inspiration from the many real-life child stars they'd both known.
I mean, we tried to make him look like him, act like him, everything but the drug past, because it's PG, but yeah, he's just a mess and very selfish and very, like, showbiz-oriented and kind of an idiot, and that's how a lot of these people are, but also delusional, like not knowing it's all gone. Still thinks he's a big deal, and he's not.
Worried that his missing childhood is the cause for his emotionless acting, Dickie decides to reclaim his lost youth and hires a family to adopt him. Despite being peppered with bona fide former child stars like Barry Williams from the Brady Bunch, Danny Bonaducci from the Partridge Family, and 70s teen idol Leif Garrett, Dickie Roberts landed wide of the mark in terms of critical and commercial success. In 2004, it was back to television to join the cast of 8 Simple Rules after the death of its star, John Ritter. The following year, he landed his own show on Comedy Central called The Showbiz Show with David Spade, which ran for 3 seasons. In 2006, he was back on the big screen in the comedy Benchwarmers, co-starring Rob Schneider and John Hader, and produced by Adam Sandler.
It's fun. You know, Adam Sandler had this idea back when we were on Saturday Night Live together for me, him, and Chris Farley, and David Spade. And it was just something that, you know, I said, oh, that'll be fun. And then finally, like, you know, 10 years later, he decided, oh, we'll do it.
In the film, David, Rob and John play nerds who end up taking the stand for the benchwarmers who sit on the sidelines. A rich eccentric, played by John Lovitz, funds a baseball tournament in which the 3 grown men compete against Little League teams, with a new amazing baseball field as the ultimate prize.
Feels so bad, we'll play you for it.
Was there a problem with something?
The Benchwarmers fared rather better with audiences than Dickie Roberts and earned a nomination at the Teen Choice Awards.
You know, they should have everyone else.
Owing Adam Sandler a big favour, David put in a cameo appearance as a transvestite in a Playboy suit in Chuck and Larry, and is set to star in the 2009 comedy Hollywood and Wine. German actress Diane Kruger entertained early dreams of becoming a ballerina and was sent to study with the Royal Ballet in the 1980s. After an injury dashed her dancing hopes, she moved to Paris and began modelling. Classes in acting followed, along with appearances in French movies. In 2002, she was cast opposite Christopher Lambert in a TV movie called The Piano Player. And from there, her big screen career took off. Her first big Hollywood film was 2004's hotly anticipated historical blockbuster Troy, in which she played the infamous temptress Helen of Troy. The story goes that director Wolfgang Petersen demanded she plump up to play the face that launched 1,000 ships.
Father, you are a great king because you loved all of Troy. That is the way I love Helen.
After losing the extra 15 pounds by the time the premiere rolled around in May, Diane was ecstatic to find herself beside the likes of Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston and Eric Bana on the red carpet.
It's pretty huge, you know, it's a little overwhelming, all these people and all the paparazzi, and it's really fun. All my friends are here from New York and they haven't seen me in a movie yet, so I'm excited, yeah.
Just 3 months later, she was back in front of the flashing cameras to celebrate the release of the psychological thriller Wicker Park, alongside Josh Hartnett and Rose Byrne.
It's only been a couple of months. I want to make my life with you.
The film tells the story of a man caught in an obsessive search for a woman he fell deeply in love with, a woman who then vanishes without a trace. 2 years later, he catches a glimpse of her in a local bar and begins a twisting search to find her and discover what happened. Most of the buzz surrounding the film centered on Diane's love scenes with Josh.
You know, it's always awkward. Like, no matter how handsome your co-star is, you know, it is awkward because you've just met that person about a week or two. So you know, it's not horrible, but it's certainly awkward.
To complete her 2004 hat trick, she also starred in the action-adventure romp National Treasure as Dr. Abigail Chase opposite Nicolas Cage. Within a year of arriving in Hollywood, Diane found herself at number 50 on Maxim's list of Hot 100 Women, and she was inundated with invitations to haute couture and style events. Her model looks and exotic glamour had reporters clamoring for an insight into her fashion secrets.
It depends on the occasion, you know. Like tonight I wanted to feel like I'm going to a party and have fun and I can actually dance in. I went to the Oscars for the first time this year and it had to be a dress that I'll always remember.
How do you feel about heading...
In 2006, she began work on a less than glamorous role as the wife of the prison officer charged with looking after Nelson Mandela during his incarceration on South Africa's notorious Robben Island.
What do they think?
At first, she found it difficult to empathize with a woman who tried to keep her husband from becoming involved in the black struggle.
When I first read the script, I was like, I judged her, you know, because it's a horrible thing. I personally cannot imagine saying that to, especially my daughter. So I was worried, how do we not judging this person, and if I would have, the movie would have been doomed because you can't hate the person you play.
However, after meeting the real Gloria Gregory, she found a way in.
Sleep at night. Because she's such a kind, lovely woman, you know. She's in her 60s now. She's really funny and lively, and I could ask her all those questions, you know, just somehow try to understand where she was coming from. And yeah, I feel lucky that I did.
It was the first of 4 premieres for Diane in 2007. Her other films that year included The Hunting Party with Richard Gere and the second installment of the National Treasure franchise, Book of Secrets.
Look at this.
This time, Dr. Abigail Chase was out to assist treasure hunter Benjamin Franklin Gates to discover the truth behind the assassination of Abraham Lincoln by uncovering the mystery within the 18 pages missing from assassin John Wilkes Booth's diary.
Oh, it's a really fun ride. If you like the first one, you're really going to enjoy this one. It's, you know, the same cast is back, and we're joined by Helen Mirren and Ed Harris, and, you know, we take you all over the world, and great chase scenes and lots of action, humor.
Her next big film release promises at least as much action and humor, boasting a sprawling star-studded ensemble cast Quentin Tarantino's epic war film spaghetti western will feature Diane as the very Aryan-sounding Bridget von Hammersmark. At just 11 years old, Abigail Breslin was honoured at the 2007 Glamour Awards. However, while some of her peers were waxing philosophical about the importance of recognising the achievements of women, Abigail had more pressing things on her mind.
The most exciting thing that just happened to me, I'm not sure, but I might get a puppy. So I'm not sure, but that's really exciting for me right now. I'm not sure.
Perhaps she'd become a little blasé about all the awards and nominations that began after her star-making appearance in the 2006 film Little Miss Sunshine. The independent film about a dysfunctional family and its quest to fulfill the dreams of an underdog beauty queen was a surprise hit at the box office and earned its 10-year-old star no fewer than 15 award nominations, including nods for an Oscar and a Screen Actors Guild Award. Her co-star and fellow Oscar nominee Alan Arkin gave their reactions to all the fuss.
Good night.
I think it's really cool.
I think it's way cool, too.
Were you surprised at all?
It's always a surprise to hear somebody say something nice.
Clearly, the grandfather-granddaughter combo had as much chemistry off-screen as on.
Beautiful girl in the whole. Well, we had a week's rehearsal where we spent a lot of time playing together. We played games. We went out to lunch.
We went out bowling.
We went bowling, and I beat Abigail.
Okay, yes.
I beat you.
He thinks that
Admit
he's
it.
such a great bowler.
What?
But I did get a strike, and...
You got a strike?
Yes, I did.
I don't remember any strike,
do.
Abigail. I'm very sorry. I don't remember.
I do. I'm sorry. I have to disagree.
This woman is impossible to get along with. We didn't get along on the set, and we're not getting along now.
Abigail was just as competitive 2 years later on the set of her 2008 romantic comedy Definitely Maybe, which also starred Ryan Reynolds.
She's pretty incredible, yes. She's an actual skin-covered firecracker. So watch out. I think the wick's a little wet tonight, thank God, so she won't explode anywhere.
I know love isn't a fairy tale.
Really?
Really?
In between Little Miss Sunshine and Definitely Maybe, she'd appeared in 5 films, including The Ultimate Gift and No Reservations, alongside Catherine Zeta-Jones and Aaron Eckhart. She'd also found the time to become an honorary Girl Scout. After her induction in LA, she recalled one of the best parts of the ceremony.
Probably Girl Scout cookies, which I don't know if Girl Scouts... Can the Girl Scouts actually eat the Girl Scout cookies? Sure. Or do they just sell them? I don't know, but hopefully honorary Girl Scouts can eat them, because I like them.
A month later, she was the centre of attention once again at the premiere of the adventure fantasy film Nim's Island, based on the book by Wendy Orr. And yet again, despite being the star of the show, she wasn't taking things too seriously.
Well, I get to climb a volcano in it, and I ride on a sea lion and dance with a sea lion. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. It's really fun.
Finally, at the premiere of her next movie, based on the best-selling American Girl book series, she actually had something to say about the movie's message.
Oh, I'm excited to meet everybody who likes American Girl too, and, welcome all the girls, all the boys, because, it is a movie about families pulling together, so I think that is for everybody.